Hello, everybody. Hello, challengers. We're excited to get our first ever inaugural 28-day nutrition challenge started. In the future, we will be able to do these meetings in person so that we can have more of a live like Q&A session throughout this. But we thought this was the best way to do this for the first one to just get everybody used to what the idea is. So this is our little kickoff seminar. So we know that, um, many of you have done a nutrition challenge in the past and had a weight loss and a good habit building during that time, but they don't always stay. And like sometimes you gain more than you even lost. And we know that that's a struggle for so many people. And like 2/3 of people who do a diet or a challenge will end up gaining back the weight that they lost and then some. So it is not a new thing, but don't worry. We're going to do our part here to not let this happen to you. This challenge is a great way to kick start your journey to health and wellness. And we are going to get started doing that. So here we go at Healthy Steps Nutrition, which is the company that we are using to back all of our nutritional stuff. We believe that something as fundamental as nutrition should not be complicated. We focus on a simple habit-based approach, one step at a time. So we are also using a holistic approach to help you reach your goals and that support you in all aspects of your life, not only nutrition. And a lot of us, I've talked about that with you guys during our initial sessions, right? Everything is going to affect each other throughout this process, right? So, the objectives of this challenge, what we are doing here and what we're doing this for, is to help you understand how to set yourself up for success during this nutrition challenge. Find out what you need to start off with first. Whoopsies, sorry. I keep pushing the wrong buttons here. I apologize. And learn how to utilize tools to support yourself on this journey. Okay, so we're going to understand how to be successful from the get go, what we can do over the next couple of days to be ready for Monday. Okay, so to start off, we've all done our initial assessment. So we talked about what success looks like for you, what worked well in the past, what we're going to struggle with most throughout this challenge. Some of you, we talked about things that stopped you from seeing results in the past. So things that we talked about. So things to kind of look back on that meeting that we had together when we talked about. Some of you have done keto. Some of you have done or are doing Weight Watchers. Some of you have done different, multi-level sometimes things. What worked well with that? What can you look back on and say, well, when I was doing that, this was really awesome, right? This worked so good. So let's implement those bright spots and positives in what we're doing now. What was hard about those? What can we work on? What can we change? What can we do better now, knowing what we learned about those other challenges in the past, right? So thinking through that, we've talked about it, reflect a little bit more yourself on that. So, and we talked during our sessions about goal setting. I know we've started setting goals during our meetings, but we want them to be smart. What does a SMART goal mean? We've all kind of learned about this in school and things, that they are specific, that they are measurable, that they are attainable or achievable, that they're realistic, and that they're time sensitive. So we know that we put that limit on ourselves. In this 28 days, this is our goal. In 6 months, this is our goal, right? So we also want to look at the why. We talked a little about that in our meetings, why these goals are important to you. This goal is going to be to lose weight or fit in clothes again or have a swimsuit that we're looking forward to wearing this summer. But why is that important? Are we going to be happier? Are we going to be more confident? The why is so important to determine and then keep it in mind throughout this challenge and this whole journey, right? Look back on that why. Why do I want to be able to fit in that bathing suit? Why do I want to be able to fit in these clothes again? It's simple to just say, I want to be able to fit in these clothes. But why? Why? Think about it. Alrighty. So the basics of what we're doing on this journey. We are going to focus on one thing at a time. One thing at a time. We are going to nail that one thing and then add something else to it. We're going to layer our habit onto something that we already do. We talked a lot about this during our meetings. A lot of us did. Instead of taking away things, we're going to add something. We're adding veggies to our lunch and dinner. We're adding chopping up those veggies to our routine already at dinner. We've talked about a lot of this, but we're just reminding you here. Some things to remember throughout this process. Let's choose real food over food products. Let's clean out our pantries. Let's look at progress over perfection. Let's look at our food labels, know what we're eating, and let's follow the plate method that is in that handbook that I went over with you guys. So, nutrition, whoopsies again, pushing buttons. Nutrition is the foundation of what we're doing here. There will be a focus on nutrition each week, right? The idea is layering, again, those things on each other because they will focus on another one each time. The other things that we are working on throughout this challenge is the 30 minutes of daily movement, 7+ hours of sleep, and 10 minutes of stress management or mindfulness throughout this process. Every day, you will see these things in your app, right? Those yellow circles that we need to fill up. So you'll have 4 pillars to mark off week 1. And then they will add on each other with those additional habits each week. Alrighty, next. Principle number 1. To start building this foundation, here at HSN, we have helped a lot of people. They have helped a lot of people take control of their health one habit at a time. And number 1 thing that they help people do is add more whole foods into your diet. So that's what we're going to work on first as well. The plate method is the best way to get started with this. It's most effective in improving your diet by eating a balance of high quality foods. It's a rule of thumb to use as well when eating out or making meals at home, right? To do it. So the first thing that you need to do when talking about the plate method is to make half of your plate non-starchy vegetables. So in that little picture there, you see lots of really great options. They're in that food guide list in your handbook. A quarter of your plate, your lean protein, and a quarter of your plate, a starch. Then add a healthy source of fat. So normally, like I said, that is used to cook those items. It's just not something you're also eating on the side. But obviously, like the picture, avocado is always a great choice. So vary that amount of fat based on your protein choice. If you're using a super lean protein, you really can use that fat to cook your things. If you're using a higher fat protein, you're going to need to kind of lay off the fat on your cooking method or for the rest of your plate. The other thing that I have been implementing at my house, especially with my kids, is eat your veggies first. Clean your plate of veggies and then eat your protein and leave your starch for last. Then, after you've eaten what you've put on your plate, if you're still hungry, go back for more veggies. But I have found myself, and especially with my kids, filling up your tummy with those veggies first and then that protein. Sometimes you don't even finish all of the starch that you put on your plate. Or you're not feeling the need to go eat more because you put those veggies in your tummy first. All right, principle number 2, we are going to focus on balance, getting those 3 macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fat. So why is this important? Because pairing each meal with all 3 of these macronutrients is going to help keep you fuller for longer. Have you ever just eaten a carb and not felt satisfied, right? We always need something else. If you just drank a protein shake with nothing else in it, are you going to stay full for a long period of time? So we're going to talk about macros more in a second. I know a lot of you guys are wanting to learn about macros. So first macro, protein. Protein provides us with the important amino acids that are key to building our muscle and recovering from our workouts. Not to mention, the protein helps us stay full and feel more satisfied. That's why that's normally our main focus when we're dieting, and what we've been working on in the past here at the studio is protein, protein, protein. So it's best to focus on a lean source of protein as you're making your choices: chicken breast, turkey, egg whites, fish. High fat sources of protein we do want to have, but limit them because they can provide sometimes lots of fat per ounce of protein when you're thinking about certain steaks or bacon, right? Sometimes even chicken wings, right? It's a higher fat source of that chicken. That's why the breast is a little bit better than maybe the thigh or the wing, right? So, on an average, protein provides about 4 calories per gram and should be about 30% of your daily calorie intake when we're breaking down those macros. But everybody's needs are different, right? And that's what's so important about looking through that InBody app and possibly looking at your calorie goals there. Alrighty, so here are some other protein sources. We've seen this in our handbook. So knowing that those green sources we should use most often rather than the pink or red sources that are the higher fat. The next thing we're going to talk about is carbs, right? Everybody loves the carbs. This is the macronutrient that gets a bad rap, though, right? Many foods under the carbohydrate umbrella are sugary things: fruit, breads, pasta, grains, even starchy veggies, potatoes, squash, things of that nature. Carbohydrates break down into glucose, which is what our body prefers to use as fuel. So they are necessary, right? We need them daily to fuel our brain and our bodies. We are also going to get about 4 calories per gram of carbohydrate that we eat, and should be about 30 to 40% of your daily calorie intake as well. But be sure to like think about how that affects your body. Everybody's needs are a little bit different. So here's our starchy carb list as well. We've seen this in our guide. Choosing from the lower glycemic carbs are a better choice than the high glycemic index, so affecting our blood sugar, right? So we still need to build a balanced meal. Here are some non-starchy carb options that are an awesome choice as well. So we have that in our guide handbook that I sent you guys. Last is fats. So fat does not make you fat, right? We've heard all of that before. It helps you stay full for a longer amount of time and absorb those fat soluble vitamins. However, it is very calorie dense. So out of the 3 macronutrients here, we are going to get 9 calories per gram, aside from the 4 that you would get from carbs or protein. So per gram, more dense in calories. So remember, a little bit goes a long way. Best to choose a plant source of fat, if possible: avocado oil, olive oil, still between 30 and 40%, depending on how you're breaking it down, of your daily intake. But a little goes a long way, right? Everybody's needs will vary, but just keep that in mind. And here's our list of those healthy fats, good choices there. Alrighty, principle number 3 for Healthy Steps Nutrition is limit our added sugar. The American Heart Association says no more than 6 teaspoons, that's the small one, for women and 9 for men in a day. On average, a person in the US consumes over 150 pounds of sugar per year, and that breaks down to 46 teaspoons per day. We're supposed to have 6. Boys are supposed to have 9. On average, we are having 46. That's way too much, right? It's not surprising that it's addicting and found hidden in all of our foods. Affects the brain the same way drugs do. It's not something that we're surprised that we're addicted to, right? A good way to limit your added sugar is to eat those whole foods first and that balance of macros. Look at your labels, right? We talked about that at the beginning. Alrighty, so all of our pillars throughout this, we'll go through here a little bit next, is sleep, right? How do we track our sleep? Are you wearing that smartwatch? Do you wear your smartwatch during the day and charge it at night so you're not tracking your sleep? Could you possibly find a way to charge your smartwatch during the day at a different time or while you're driving. That's when I charge mine, when I'm driving, so that I can still track my sleep at night. So I know how many hours I'm getting. We are recommending 7 or more for the challenge, and it's directly related to our body's ability to regulate our hormone levels, blood sugar. It helps us recover and obviously feel our best. Um, Research shows that people who are exercising more and athletes need a few more hours of sleep for that proper recovery. As women, it is vital for our hormone regulation, especially when we're trying to build muscle. When we don't sleep enough, our hormones get out of whack and inhibit our ability to lose weight or perform at our best. 35% of adults report sleeping less than 7 hours per night. So, not uncommon. So, what are you going to do to make sure you can get those 7 hours of sleep throughout this challenge? My best recommendation is to look at what your nighttime routine looks like. Could you create a schedule or a routine so you can maybe put that phone down a little bit earlier? We're not scrolling. Maybe turn off the television before we get sucked into like a binge session late at night. One of the things that we recommend is doing some box breathing. If you're a person that has a hard time falling asleep, or you wake up at night and you can't go back to sleep. I know I have to get up and go potty because I'm drinking all my water, right? So sometimes this box breathing is a technique to help you fall back asleep if you need to. So it has been shown to calm the nervous system and allow you to relax your mind and help you get to sleep or go back to sleep. So what you do is you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and hold that for 4 seconds. So try that as you're trying to fall asleep, maybe tonight, or if you're awoke in the middle of the night and you need to fall back asleep. Also, kind of picturing in your mind, drawing that box with your breath. It's a great technique. If you find yourself even in the middle of the day stressed or worked up, to kind of calm your mind. Alrighty, one of our other pillars we're working on is our stress, our chronic stress. Our body is in that alert mode, that fight or flight mode, even if there's not danger, if we're in that chronic stress place. And over time, it can put you at risk for high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, depression, or anxiety. Sometimes eczema or acne. Obviously, problems with our menstrual cycles can happen with stress. So, what do you do to help with your stress? Circling back to that sleep, circling back to that box breathing, going on a walk. What do you do that is productive to manage your stress? Sometimes sharing those in the group will be really helpful for other ladies. Alrighty, so next thing we're working on obviously is our exercise. It doesn't mean spending hours and hours at the gym. That's why our system is built for that 30 minutes. We want to include high intensity exercise and strength training 3 to 4 days a week. But when we're not here, what are we doing, right? Exercise has a ton of benefits, obviously, that we know related to our blood sugar control and disease prevention. A lot of you ladies talked about sitting at a desk most of the day. It's a great habit. When can you build in that 15-minute walk or 10-minute walk before your lunch, after your dinner? Things like that helps with your digestion and regulation of your blood sugar. So if you're taking that lunch break anyway, is there a way that you could build in a little walk? So good ideas there. The habits that we're talking about here. Habits for this challenge are meant to be easy so that you're able to find success and build a solid foundation. Habits are just the beginning. And if you decide to go into ongoing coaching with myself or with Coach Julie, we'll dial into the details for your specific life. These habits are generalized to be something that is a good foundation for everybody. We talked a little bit in our meeting about those non-scale victories, better moods and increased energy. We talked about that non-scale victory of fitting in those clothes again or things like that. So those are so important to look out to stay consistent with what we're doing. And don't forget that we will be sharing those on Fridays within the group as bright spots on Fridays. So start looking for those throughout your week, next week, and every week throughout the challenge. Alrighty, so we went over the HSN app when we sat down together. That group at the top of your app with the Yellow flour is the great place to engage with each other. Like we said, sharing those bright spots. Those weekly videos that are going to be blue, and the habits that are going to be yellow there. So use that group message for pictures, asking questions. And then if you need to message me directly, it is under the pink triangle in the bottom right-hand corner. So tracking those habits, consistency is the driver of results. What you don't track, you cannot judge, or you cannot manage, right? So under there, you'll see that habit throughout the week. Make sure you click on it and click complete each day with each of the habits that you do, so that you can stay engaged and consistent and be entered in to win those prizes, right? So when you click it, you'll get a little thumbs up for starting a streak with those habits. So make sure that you do that each day, because your compliance, like I said, is what is going to get you entered in for those prizes. And that is super important. Every day you'll complete your habits in there, and you can see it under the calendar at the bottom of your app if you need it as well. Our goal is going to be 80% compliance throughout the challenge. All right, engaging in the group. Our most successful clients are always going to be the ones that are engaged and have a great support system. And you guys are the support system for each other. It says to win a free Yeti. We did not do a Yeti. We did other cups instead. So sorry about that. Open your app and find that group chat, and make sure that you know where it is. If you need help with it, let me know. Everybody, if you can do it for me, it'll get you an extra ticket into the first week's prize. If you can go into the group and type in the group, what is one thing that you hope to get out of this challenge, and share it with everybody. Everybody that does that will get an extra ticket for the first week's prize. Alrighty, next slide. So a lot of questions that have come up. Do I have to weigh or log my food? No. There's no need to buy a food scale. There's no need to weigh out your portions. When you do that, you can do it with your hands. You can use a guide that I'm going to put in the group to track your portion sizes. So just really quickly to kind of go over it with you guys. 2 fists, sorry, where's the camera? 2 fists would equal your non-starchy veggies, or those volume carbs. Your palm, 1 to 2 palms is a great idea for your protein portion. Half to a full hand, half to a full hand, not a fist, of your starch. And your thumb, 1 or 2 of those is your fat, right? So everything done with your hand or your fist. The other way to kind of measure it all out is the plate itself. I know that's a little bit tricky because everybody's plates are different, and we've seen like how the size of plates have gotten larger, but the general idea is still there. So that is a great head start rather than weighing. Do I have to eat my starchy carbs? Carbs are bad for you. So they're not bad for you. You want to choose a good variety and a good choice though, right? Stick with those lower glycemic options. A low glycemic means that it's lower in sugar and higher in fiber. So it's going to be better for your blood sugar. So you remember, please eat your carbs. Can I eat just sandwiches? Absolutely. Sandwiches are an awesome choice for lunch. Just make it a healthy balance. Try to use a whole grain or a sprouted bread. Sometimes the flats are a good choice. Sandwich flats. Use an open-faced sandwich so you're not getting 2 slices of bread. Use your lean protein choice. Load it up with veggies, some avocado or hummus for your fats. Utilize the plate method to make sure that that sandwich is kind of built right, having those veggies even on the side for some extra. What about bars, snack bars, right? We use a lot of those around here, easy grab and go. Make sure they're balanced. Make sure that they have healthy ingredients, lower in the carbohydrates. Make sure your protein is good within that bar. Make sure you're reading the label. RX bars are a good choice, other than the ones we have at the studio if you're not a fan. The whole food, they're called the Power Pro bar that we have at the studio. Awesome option if the level 1 bar is not hitting it for you. Alrighty. This was a big one. I don't love veggies. So we've heard it a lot. But for this challenge, we are asking, what if you haven't found the way that you like your veggies? Try roasting your veggies so they have a crunch. Try switching up your seasonings that you use on that veggie to make them a little bit different. So try different dips if you need to, right? Different flavors of hummus, making a healthy yogurt dip to have with those raw veggies. Try eating them raw if you have only had them cooked. Different options throughout. We would love to see you guys posting within the group how you are eating your veggies. Alrighty, can I still eat my favorite things? Can I still eat what I want? Absolutely. Realistic and sustainable is the idea behind all of this to help you reach those long-term goals. We don't want to cut you off by any means and restrict yourself and feel that you can't have what you want to have. Think about the plate method when you're eating, right? Find that balance, find that breakdown that you need. Have a spaghetti night, right? That's fine. Fill a quarter of your plate with the pasta. Fill a quarter of your plate with the chicken or meatballs, whatever it is. There's a lot of veggies in that tomato sauce, right? But what can you put in to have more veggies? Could you put zucchini on your plate with that sauce, or artichokes, mushrooms? An awesome salad to help fill your plate with that. Sweet treats. How about that? So, yes, you can still have them. Be mindful, proper portion sizes. Have that treat and move on, right? Don't dwell on the fact that you did it. Don't think because I have one, I can have two, right? Don't dwell on it. Move on. Go on to the next, right? And another one, what happens after the challenge? Well, this is only 28 days. Think about 6 months from now. Like we said, what's happening in the fall? I want everything to be manageable after this challenge. Where do you see yourself? What did we say? October, going into the holiday season. Take a step back, think about it, focus on your goals. What does the future look like? How is the future going to look different because I've done this? Because I've stuck with it for 6 months, because I continue with ongoing ongoing coaching and put myself in the best place possible. And think about the why that we talked about at the beginning of this. Think about how it made you feel and how you will feel in that moment going into Halloween with a different mindset. Um, Helping you achieve what you have imagined just now is what we want to do, and why we developed ongoing coaching as part of this process instead of just these challenges, right? We want to help you achieve those goals. So we have those weekly prizes. They are sitting on the front counter. And we posted them in the group. So we have every week and then a grand prize. So how do you get those? So completing your weekly goals, we will be sending out a self-assessment every week. Participation is key. So taking advantage of everything that we're doing and providing you in this challenge is how you are going to win those prizes. Everything has been chosen to set you up for long-term success. Remember, you need to hear things 8 to 10 times before you can take action on it. So we are repeating ourselves. If you feel like this path isn't the right for you and you want to convert into ongoing coaching instead, let's talk about that too. If you need that one-on-one right now, we can work on that. But I encourage you to stick with this 28 days and then roll over into it so we can be in the best place possible for our one-on-one ongoing coaching. So you need to be completing your weekly goals, doing your self-assessment, filling out that weekly that's going to be shared. Complete the weekly mini challenges. Engage in our group chat, please, and we'll enter you into the drawing every week for a prize. So that. All righty, y'all. We've done it. We did it. We are here for you. We are ready for this to be the big kickoff that gets you in the best place for summer. And then we are excited to work with you throughout the summer and going into the fall to put you in the best place possible for the holiday season, sticking with you through that holiday season so that our new year looks completely different. That's my goal, is I want to go into the new year without having to think about weight loss and those type of things being my main New Year's resolution. Right. So Julie and I are here for you for whatever that you need throughout this process. We're excited to do this with you. I know that Heather and Carolyn and Flowers and Riley are excited to be part of this group. Clara, excited to be part of this group with you guys and doing it with you as well. So we are all doing this together as a team. So if you have any questions, please send them to me individually or in the group so we can all help each other. Julie or myself will do the very best possible to get back with you within the day that you message individually, or if you message at night, first thing the next morning. So we are super excited. If you guys have any questions, send them my way. And we're excited to get started on Monday. So we will chat with you soon.